Hello students and namaste everyone. I am Dhaval sir and our today's topic is your social studies third chapter Indian Constitution part 2. Right? In our first part we had discussed about constitution, then preamble of the constitution, then how is constitution formed, then the constituent assembly. Okay, so all these points were discussed in our first session. Now, in our today's session, we will discuss about salient features of our constitution. Right? So, some of the salient features of our constitution are democratic rule, secularism, republic, federal state, fundamental rights. Okay, so these are the salient features which are mentioned in our textbook. There are some more features, right, but we'll not discuss it in this chapter. So the points which are given in this chapter, we'll discuss that right now. Okay, so we'll start with the first, that is democratic rule. Usually democracy means the government which is formed for the people, by the people and of the people, right? So how it is for the people? That means the government is formed for the people. That means the public or the people, they cannot directly fulfill all the demands or wishes whatever they want. So for that reason they, through the election process, elect their representatives, right? Then it is by the people. So the election process takes by the people, that is through voting. Okay, so for the people, by the people and of the people. And this people, that is the democratic rule, is by the people. That means the people, they themselves elect their representatives and they are the real rulers, right? They only elect the representatives and they try to fulfill their demands or the needs whatever they want with the help of elected representatives. Now we'll discuss the first paragraph, that is democratic rule. India has adopted the democratic system of government. General elections are held in our country every 5 years, right? So general elections means the elections which takes place in the whole country together, right? In our last general elections, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he was elected and made the prime minister. Now he will be in the rule for at least 5 years, right? So there is general elections. Citizens above the age of 18 years are eligible to cast their vote. So this concept is known as adult suffrage. Okay, so the people or the citizen of India who are 18 years of age and above are eligible to vote. Okay, they can go for voting. We cannot imagine democracy without elections. People all over the country play their role in electing their representatives. Any voter of the country can contest an election irrespective of his or her religion, caste, class, or gender. So here it is told that the person, if he is of 18 years of age or above and if he is the citizen of India, then he can take part in the elections irrespective of his caste, class, or gender, right? No one can stop him from doing his or enjoying his right, that is of voting, right? It is his basic right to vote, so no one can stop him from going for voting or electing his own candidate of his choice. Okay, the elected representatives rule for 5 years, that I have already discussed. Every citizen enjoys the freedom to follow the religion of his or her choice, as well as freedom of speech, expression and thoughts. So these points we'll discuss in the fundamental rights. Okay, now next point is secularism, right? So secular nation means that the government does not conform to the norms of any particular religion. This word we have actually discussed in the first part. Okay, in the preamble it was given secular. Secular means the government is not attached or the government does not follow the instructions given by any particular religion or the sect, right? It is independent, so it is given that the government does not conform to the norms of any particular religion in its system of governance. Citizens are not discriminated. Discriminated मतलब भेदभाव. So discriminated are not, they are not discriminated on the basis of their faith, sect or religion. Right? So here it is told that if a person belongs to any particular caste, creed, religion or anything, right, they are not discriminated. That means they are equally treated by our government or our country. Every citizen enjoys the right to follow and propagate the religion of his or her choice. That means every citizen of India, okay, he can follow the religion of his or her choice. If a person is Hindu and if he wants to convert himself to Muslim, if a person is Muslim, he wants to convert himself to Christian, and if a Christian wants to convert himself to Hinduism, then no one can stop him. And the person has the right to propagate the religion of his or her choice. Propagate means the religion whatever he is following, he can talk about that religion and he can ask other people to follow that religion which he is following if they want to, by their choice, not by force. Okay, that is propagating. Propagate in Gujarati means prachar prasar. Okay, so the religion whatever they are following, they can propagate it. Okay, that is secularism. Then next is republic. The government that obtains power. Republic means that is the power of the people. Okay, so we'll see the paragraph. Republic means a government that obtains power from people directly or indirectly. Okay, how directly? That is through the elected representatives. Through elections we select the candidates. Okay, so they are directly elected by the people, and in some form of the government the candidates are elected by the representatives who are already selected by the people. That means some people are in the government are not elected directly by the public or the citizen, but they are elected by the representatives. Okay, we have adopted a democratic republic system of government, which means that the powers are not limited in the hands of a few privileged people. Rather, it is accessible to all the citizens irrespective of their caste, class, religion, or gender. So, republic means all the people or the public of India or the citizens of India are equal and they have the right to select their own representatives, and everyone is same in the eyes of law or the government, right? The power is not in the hands of few privileged people. That means if we talk about our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, though he is the Prime Minister of India, right, he does not have the ultimate power. That means he cannot do whatever he wants to, right? Ultimately he has to think about all the people, and now right now he is the prime minister, and if he thinks that I want to break the law or I can do anything, then it is wrong. He cannot do such kind of thing. Whether a person is a VIP or a VVIP, even though he is a VVIP person, even though he is having powers, then too he cannot break the laws of the country, right? That means everyone is same in the eyes of law, or everyone is same in the eyes of the government or for the country. Okay, so that is a republic. Then there is two pictures given in the form of graph. That is, one is given about central government. So how does our central government work? So at the nation, that is at the national level, whole country, the head of the whole country is president. Then you can see below that there is a state government. So if we tell, or if someone asks you that who is the head of the nation, who is the head of the whole nation, then you can answer that the person who is the head of the whole nation is the president. Then if you are asked that who is the head of the state, then you can say the head of the state is the governor. Okay, so Below president, that means president is the head at the national level, at the whole level of the country. Then below that there are three different sections, there is legislator, executive and judiciary. That means three different sections are there uh, to function the country properly, right? Legislator means that body or a group of or that section of people who makes laws, right? So legislator is a group of people, or it is a body where the laws of the countries are made. Then is the executive. Executive means in this group the people, right, the group of people, they try to make the people follow the rules and regulations. So rules and regulations are made by the legislator. Then the executive group, that is the prime minister or the council of ministers, they try to make people follow the rules and regulations of the country. And the third one is the judiciary. So judiciary is a totally independent body, right? Under judiciary, at the national level comes the supreme court. So supreme court is the apex level of the court. Okay, so under legislator, legislator, as I said, it is a body which makes the laws. So under that comes the parliament and the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha, okay, that is the lower house, and Rajya Sabha, that is the upper house. Then in the executive comes the prime minister and the council of ministers. Prime minister we already know, our prime minister is Shri Narendra Modi. Then the council of ministers. So what is council of ministers? Council of ministers means the group of ministers which are appointed by the prime minister, right? So council of ministers, for example, the prime minister of prime minister of India is Narendra Modi. He has to deal with the whole nation. He has to control, or he has to manage the work of whole nation. So he won't be able to manage the whole nation on his own alone. Okay, so he needs the help of some of the people. And as we know that there are different fields. If we talk about health department, if we talk about foreign department, if we talk about defense, right? So there are so many different departments or the fields for which we need someone who can look after that particular department, right? So for that purpose a team is prepared, okay, and the team or the ministers of that team are known as council of ministers. Okay, so council of minister comes under the executive group. Now we'll see the state government. So as I said, if you are asked that who is the head of the state, then you can say that is the governor. Okay, one point I forgot to tell you, that if you are asked that who is the head of the government, right, you might have a question that if the president is the head of the country, then what is the prime minister? Then the answer to that is the prime minister is the head of the government. Okay, president is the head of the country and prime minister is the head of the government. In the similar way, the head of the state is the governor and the head of the government of the state is chief minister. Okay, so we'll see about state government. Okay, the head is governor. Then under that also again there are three same sections, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, so at the state level we'll first see the legislator. At the national level it was parliament and the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, and at the state level it is state government, legislative assembly, okay, and Vidhan Sabha or the Vidhan Parishad. So these are the bodies which makes the law for the state, right? Some laws are for the whole nation, some rules and regulations are for the whole nation, and for state there are some different laws which are prepared by this group of body. Okay, then comes the governor. Under that comes the executive. So executive means the people who try to make people follow the rules and regulations. So under state comes the chief minister and council of ministers. Okay, then under that comes the local administration. So that is panchayat and municipal corporations and municipal boards. Why municipal corporations and municipal boards are given and panchayat is given? That means at the village level, right, the organization or the administration is done by the sarpanch, who is the head of the panchayat. Then at the cities or the towns, right, that is there are municipal corporation and municipal boards. Okay, then last section is your judiciary. So at the state level, the highest level of the court is high court, then below that comes the district court, and there are some subordinate courts. Subordinate court means the taluka court. Okay, then we'll go further and we'll see the functions of government. Okay, legislature, executive and judiciary are the organs of government that we have already discussed. That legislature makes laws, executive with the help of civil service officers. Civil service officer means the IAS, that means the collectors of the different districts or towns, right? They implement the laws. That means they look after it, or they see that the people of the country follows the rules and regulations very strictly. Okay, and the judiciary makes people follow the law and does the work of providing justice. Okay, so that is the function of the government. Then comes the federal state. So India is a federal state. How it is a federal state? Federal means there are some subjects. Subjects means there are some subjects like to make laws or rules and regulations. So our country is such a country in which there is a division. That means some rules and regulations for the whole nation are common, which is made by the central government, and there are some rules and regulations which are made for particular state. That is, state wise there are some rules and regulations which differ from each other. So some means all the states, they have their own powers to make such laws or rules and regulations. So therefore India is known as federal state. Okay, we'll read out and we'll understand. There is a distribution of subjects on which the central or the state government can frame laws. So as I said, that there are some common rules and regulations which is to be followed by the whole nation and which is prepared by the central government. Okay, and there are some rules and regulations which is seen only in some particular states, which is made by the state government. Okay, then there are three such lists. That means there is a list prepared about different rules and regulations and the laws which fall under different category. Union list, that means union list means the rules and regulations or the laws which are made by the union government or the government at the central level. So all that laws or rules and regulations come under union list. Then there are some rules and regulations or laws which comes under state list, means state government prepares that. Okay, and the concurrent list. Now the concurrent list means there are some laws or rules and regulations which are made by both the state government as well as the union or the central government. Both together decide and make some laws or rules and regulation that comes under the concurrent list. Laws framed by the central government are applicable to the entire nation. That I've already told to you. And our today's last topic is fundamental rights. Okay, so in our constitution, fundamental rights and fundamental duties are mentioned for each and every citizen of the India. So here in this chapter we'll discuss only about the fundamental rights. So fundamental rights of the Indian citizens are provided by the Constitution of India. Right, so as I said that this fundamental rights in detail is provided in the Constitution, that what are the rights of the citizen of the India. Okay, that was adopted on the 26th of the November in the year 1949. That means it is the date on which our constitution was drafted. Okay, but was put in use on the 26th of January 1950. So this also we have already discussed that on 26th of January 1950 our constitution was implemented. Okay, that came into force. Okay, and on that day we celebrate our Republic Day. So the fundamental rights of Indian citizen guarantee that the residents of the land can lead a peaceful life as long as they inhabit the country. Inhabit means they live in the country. So those who are the citizens of the India, they are given the guarantee, means they are guaranteed by our constitution that as long as they live in our country, as long as they are the inhabitants or the citizens of our country, they can live the peaceful life. Okay, because in the eyes of law, in the eyes of the country, each and every citizen, whether he is a rich or a poor, whether he is a male or a female, whether he is a whether he belongs to any religion or caste or creed, anything, he is same in the eyes of law or in the eyes of the nation. Okay, so no one will be treated with discrimination. Okay, the individual fundamental rights of Indian citizens are most of the time similar in all the democratic countries. That means in most of the democratic countries the fundamental rights are almost the same. The individual fundamental rights to Indian citizens include the following. So our Indian constitution includes the following fundamental rights. First one is equality before the law. Okay, so in the eyes of law, everyone is same, as I have discussed, whether a person is a male or a female, whether he is a rich or a poor, whether he belongs to any caste or religion, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, any caste, he is same in the eyes of law. Then it is freedom of religion. So this point also I have already discussed, that a person has the right to follow any religion of his or her own choice. No one can stop him from following that because it is his fundamental right. Okay, if a person belongs to one particular religion and if he wants to change his religion, even then he can do that. Okay, the next is the freedom of association and peaceful assembly. So freedom of association and peaceful assembly means the people in India, they can get together and work on a particular field or a task. So the people can get together and do any work, whatever they wants to do. No one can stop them from doing that work. Okay, then next is freedom of speech and expression, right? But though we are having all these freedoms, there these freedoms are restricted or limited to some extent, right? If we are given freedom to do whatever we want, then we cannot go outside on the road and sit over there or sleep over there and try to disturb the other people's life. Okay, so there are some restrictions, though we have freedom, but it is limited or restricted, right? If we are given the freedom of speech and expression, that doesn't mean that we will go outside and we'll start speaking anything rubbish. Okay, so freedom of speech means we have the right to speak against anything wrong or unlawful which is done against the country. Okay, that means the newspapers and everything. So if you are finding something wrong, then you are having the, then you have the right that you can raise your voice against the government and you can ask question to the government. Okay, so that is freedom of speech and expression. Then the last point is right to constitution remedies for the protection of civil rights. That means if any person is stopped or if any person is not given the right, that means whatever rights are given in the constitution, and if that person is not allowed to enjoy his right, then he has the right to file a suit or file a case against such person or a group of person, because he is given that particular right in the constitution and no one can stop him from enjoying that right. That is right to constitutional remedies for the protection of civil right. Okay, so that's it for today. We end our lecture over here and our third chapter over here. Thank you so much for listening to me. Okay, if you like my video, please subscribe it and press it on the like button. Thank you so much.